So after doing some recent exploration of the way Angular handles the simulated or emulated encapsulation attributes for CSS module scoping, it got me thinking about an older sanity check that I did about a year ago, which is how uh, shared CSS files get compiled into an Angular application. So for example, I have a simple component here, widget1, and you can see it includes this widget shared less file in addition to its own less file. And then I have another widget, widget2 component, which also pulls in that same shared less file. Now, the old sanity check simply demonstrated that this file gets compiled into the bundle only once, so it's not duplicated as far as compilation step. But then it got me thinking just recently about how this shared file interplays with the emulated encapsulation attributes. So I just wanted to put together this quick demo to see what happens. And if we just look at the shared file, what we can see here, I just put this content for shared widget styles to make it easier to see how the style tags get injected into the document head. And this application does nothing here but render these two widgets on the page. So let's take a look at the browser. Refresh. And here you can see are my two widgets. They have the same styles but slightly different colors. And again, if we look at the app component, here we can see the two styles, and we see these emulated encapsulation attributes, right? nghost c1 and nghost c2. The emulated encapsulation attributes apply to a component type. So anytime we have widget 2 on the page, it will be nghost-c2. Likewise, with widget 1 will always be nghost c1. So now if we look at the head to see what's going on with the styles, what we can see, here's our shared widget styles styling, and you can see that these have all been scoped to nghost c1. And again, if we scroll down, that's this component right here, which means that if we expand this one, you'll see that we get a sort of duplication of the shared styles, this time scoped to nghost c2. So that shared CSS file, the shared less file in my case, gets pulled into the head twice, but in each case it's given a component type specific emulated encapsulation attribute such that the shared styles are properly scoped to the component type, sticking with, of course, the emulated encapsulation. There's nothing super surprising here. I mean, this is basically how it would have to happen. Unless you, say, pulled these two declarations out into their own file and then, did like a comma delimited list here of selectors where Angular could maybe be able to figure out that nghost c1 and nghost c2 were both using this file pulled out into its own declaration. That's probably getting overly complicated. But again, this was just a sanity check. This is basically what I expected to happen, but sometimes you can't really form that solid mental model until you actually see it on the screen. So just to quickly recap, I have two components. Each of the components pulls in this widget shared less file, right? Here's widget 2, widget 1, they both pull that in. Angular renders that application by duplicating those shared properties, but scoping them individually to the emulated encapsulation attribute for the given component type, allowing each of these two components to use the shared styles, but do so in a way that still upholds the CSS module encapsulation.